I'll take it back to Queen Sugar. That opportunity to be directed by all female is a powerful thing, because I had to look at it differently, because I knew I'll go back to Gordon Parks, one of my favorite pieces, Superfly, and all I knew was great black males, and I wanted to be like them. What I learned is art has no gender. Art is art.
Welcome back to The Fade, your Fade to Black podcast for everything that is happening in 2025. I'm your host, Brandon Morgan, and I'm sitting here with first a very, very, very dear good friend of mine, my OG, my player partner, my friend, my seniority, my sometimes agent. What more words and adjectives do I have? I'm sitting here with the very accomplished Mr. Troy Anthony Hogan.
Oh man,
What's up, my man?
I gotta dap you up.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Great.
I appreciate it. Good
Great.
to have you here, man.
Good to be here, bro.
Good to have you here. So for the people who may not know who you are and what you are and what you bring, you know, regardless if I know, just give your basic intro to Troy Anthony Hogan for the people out there in the fade world.
Okay, this is nice. I feel like I'm doing a self-tape. So, hi, I'm Troy Anthony Hogan. It's a pleasure. It's an honor being here, especially with Fade to Black. To give background on me, I'm from Houston, Texas, of course. Actor, now producer. And television-wise, I've been on Queen Sugar. I did that for 6 years. That was an awesome privilege to watch a character have an arc from basically Farmer Number One to Cardell Stewart, doing this thing the whole entire and finishing the season. And then do another recurring first to get back in the game with Friday Night Lights with Levi Burnwell, and now still being going to the fourth year of working on the Righteous Gemstones.
Sir, I spoke with a manager about a break-in I had in my car in this parking lot. He said I can come by, sort through the security cam footage in the back.
You spoke to who?
The manager.
I'm the manager.
Oh. Okay. It was somebody else. A man.
I'm a man.
Yeah, he looked like you, but...
Did you get it?
No, I didn't know nothing. He was acting like a bitch.
And so, yeah. But my theater background is most important to me. HISD.
Okay.
Much love to UIL, doing theater at Robert E. Lee, and then from there going off to Prairie View to work with the great C. Lee Turner and Theotis Shine and the Charles Gilpin Players. I'm so proud to be a graduate of Prairie View A&M University.
Ooh, PV, you know.
That is,
Yeah.
you know.
You know.
And then, of course, after that, doing an internship at the Alliance Theater, leaving there, working with Kenny Leon, having a chance to work with Pearl Cleage and Flying West. And that was the first play I ever got involved with from beginning and inception. And then getting on television there, got my first agent in Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta Models and Talent, doing In Heat of the Night. Did my first TV movie back in the day called Street Wars with Mario Van Peebles and Michael Boatman and Courtney B. Vance and Morris Chestnut. That's Mad Love, my guy. But and really enjoying that, and that's first network. And then coming back home to finish my degree, and then being blessed to work at what I consider my home theater, the Ensemble Theater, and then doing Theater Houston, like with Main Street, and then learning my producing skills with a company that's dear to me, Hawk and Flight Productions, with my big bro, my senior, Errol Anthony Wilkes, and the great, Mr. Hawkins, and my brother, and my other brother, Corey Shields. And I was really learning how to really get into the trenches and making films in Houston. And then, of course, my other senior who passed away, Mr. Allen, doing films with him, and then learning about the film festival game with Errol and Mr. Allen, and doing our own independence back then. And then getting with my brother, my business partner, who when we created Control Insanity Multifaceted, Don Butler, learning the game side of the agency game with Boutique Talent, which is, of course, Jennifer Grenier, and putting together a team, now having my own house where I'm more comfortable dealing with film and television. I'm not having to deal with, no offense to any larger agency in town, but it's nice to have my own boutique where if that whatever out there I can push and say, hey, look at this, look at that, because as I look at the game going from a day player to recurrings, my next position is to be season regular. And so to have someone not afraid to push that and push that envelope and to do that, and then now me and Mr. Butler dealing with the Saltfish Collective, we're doing our own pieces, and that's where I'm at now, working with John Crawford and Gabe Mayon, and we're working to have our own, basically, we're developing a documentary and pitching series to the producers that encompass the African American experience. But that's about it. And of course, being a father and a husband and a dog on them. Shouts out to Bella. That's
well, that pretty much wrap up most of the things. Like, I mean, for the most part, Troy, let's just get into the genesis, right? Okay. Like the beginning of what Troy Anthony Hogan is or was that bred him to bring him to this spot today of like everything you just explained.
Well, it really starts off with family.
Yeah.
It starts with my mama. My mother, bless her heart, still living, she supported me in anything I wanted to do, especially after my father passed. And then, of course, my father and his ways in which he was a forward thinker. And my aunt, Geraldine Moore, and my grandmothers, Big Mo and Nana, Rebecca Johnson, they encouraged me. They never discouraged me to speak up. And of course, I have, being the only child of my mother and my father. My father having other children, having all these sisters, I had to find my space to be, to be heard and to be seen. And so my Nana, she's a missionary. She would always say during Easter, Troy, you're gonna do the Easter show, an Easter speech, and I can't remember one of those speeches for nothing in the world. But she would, entice me by saying, I'll get you this suit. And I look at some of those suits now, like, really? I wore pink.
That's Easter color. That's Easter, baby powder blue.
Yeah.
Yellow,
plaid, red, big bow tie.
Easter colors, man.
Back in the day, used to, do the curls to get your afro. I'm losing. I know how now. Just imagine you couldn't get a fro. I wanted to be like Michael Jackson, have my thing moving, but. I had a mini, the tiny, whiny afro. But that motivated me. Those times I think about with much joy because I still see little Troy, wanting to be Michael Jackson, spinning, dancing. I want to tell, get Randy out of there. Just let it be me. And then, going off. Then from there, going off to high school and middle school, just like wanting to be in New Edition, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Troy. So it's just always been that collective of wanting to perform, and for me, I was into what was on television. I loved Carol Burnett. Flip Wilson is to this day still my guy. And then once I got off, to Prairie View, learning about these great artists like Nikki Giovanni, Paul Robeson. And knowing that, that was a black side of my life that was deeper than just what I learned in HISD. Yeah. And so that was the genesis. Because I didn't get bit by the bug until after I finished Prairie View, because I was like, what am I going to do with this theater degree? And teaching schools, no offense, I'm proud of teachers. But I ain't gonna raise nobody else, child, because I was still trying to raise me at the time. So, shout out to all the teachers, not just in HISD, but worldwide. So that's the genesis, man. And still knowing that with this job, the discovery of old writers is just important to discovery of new writers, and really feeding into what is the great function or the great understanding of being African American or just being a man of color from any continent. Like Troy Anthony would say, shul, you have to go to shul. And I loved him for it. You know, just to get some love, my man would tell me, Troy Anthony, I'd walk reading the Atlas, going to school. And I was like, the Atlas? You know, the Sports Illustrated? What do you have? But just to know that knowledge is power. And that, you know, black power is wonderful, but knowledge is power. And I learned that now, trying to, you know, get all the knowledge I can and not be afraid of being, excuse my words, ignorant. It just means lack of knowledge. Yeah.
So take me back to that moment, like when you say you didn't get bit by the bug until like after college, right? So the moment that bug bit you, like what is it about the craft or the art that just keeps you entertained, keeps you locked in? Like what is it about the craft itself that keeps you coming back for more?
It's two things. I'm gonna take you back to Prairie View. C. Lee, and our senior year, he would have this what if class and all the probabilities of when you get out. And those who went to Prairie View, we had theater practicum, and that's when you had to build sets and do all the handiwork. I didn't come to college for that.
I thought I was just supposed to act.
Yeah. You know, I had my polos on fresh.
Real good.
Yeah. Sawdust. And do you remember those? Do you remember the cleaners there with the overstarch?
Theater stuff is hard work. I don't like this.
Exactly. So that's when I think I got the bug. So we did a what if class, and he had to interview us, and he laid into me and said, well, Troy, I heard in college you didn't do nothing. I was like, oh, this cat is really, and then the audiences are your peers, so they looking at you like, oh, I can't wait to tie into him. And I played along with him, like, I did this to get paid. And that's what really changed the game for me, that there is an opportunity to make a living. And leaving Prairie View, and within months, my first network, that's when I got the bug, because I realized I was good enough. Because sometimes, because of being black and going back, I'm born in 1967, I'm from the era of you got to be 10 times greater than those who are your slave masters. And we still do in this world, not just for them, but for ourselves, because the conditions of the world can beat black women and black men down. And so that bug to go, I can do this, and then get to a position of I can do this and I can tell stories that can elevate my culture and my people, really made it what it is for me now, because now I look at it as my ministry. The way I get out and can touch people from a variety of standpoints of being black, from the richest man to the cat that's sitting at the corner talking about, Troy, can I get $1? I can still reach out to that person. They can see me now that I'm on television from this position, go, wow, he's still a laid back dude. He's still down home. So that bug touched me. And then now even learning more, going back to look at plays, going, wow, I never looked at that play like this before. I never looked at the character like that. And it allows me to examine myself. So self-examination became a part of it. And that's all the stuff that we learned in character development. And, how we develop our character as living human beings is just as important to me now as the ones I portray in any form and platform that I work on.
Yeah. That's what's up. So take me to the state of our art right now. Like I know I got my own opinions and ideals, but we don't got time for that on this podcast. Y'all gotta catch me after hours and I'll tell you. But definitely the extended version. But in the idea of like where are we now, like whether it be film, theater, or just art in general, or all encompassing, you know what I mean? Like where are we? Is it in a stagnant place? Like is it moving towards a greater horizon? Is it like on the decline? Like where are we? Like and if we are in whatever place, how do we improve that place?
That's a good question. I'll start from here. From a Troy Hogan standpoint, I'm insulated when it comes to this business now, because when I have to look at it from that broader perspective of your question, it can be defeating, because our stories are so important, but having the opportunity to put them to the powers that be are difficult. Yeah, I can get a YouTube channel or I can go on social media, but that's not what I'm in it for. And it is a great place to have a platform and to have your art. And I look at the young people that do it successfully and the elders that do it successfully, and I support them 100%. But the state of it is in a great state, because people are wanting to get out there, just like even in this platform, to be able to speak our language as best we can put it out there is just so important. You know, there's so many great writers. I'll take it back to Queen Sugar. That opportunity to be directed by all female is a powerful thing, because I had to look at it differently, because I knew I'll go back to Gordon Parks, one of my favorite pieces, Superfly. And all I knew was great black males, and I wanted to be like them. What I learned is art has no gender. Art is art. And so when I look at the sisters I worked with, you know, Miss Dash, Jermaine Davis, even working with Ava, after the years and years of doing it, it was a situation where, how can I put it? You see a man do something, you go, man, I want to grow up to be like him. Yeah. And then chauvinistically turn around and see a sister do it and say, you go, girl. Yeah. That is so misogynistic, it's ridiculous. And I had to learn that from myself, and go, no, Troy, learn from her. Yeah. And so now being and learn from her, and then go, hey, sister, teach me. Because that's my boss, and not, you know. So I look up to the sisters that do this thing. So, and that's another thing that's really powerful, to be able to see women, black women, sisters of color, tell their stories, and then also allow us to be directed by them, so we can have a different sensibility of how I perform. And now I have a preference for female directors in a larger sense. Yeah. But the state of it is great, bro. The state of it is great.
That's what's up. Yeah. So is there more improvement on that? Like is it just the gender equality that we need to improve it, or is it? Personally, I'm just go and drop my 1 cent in there. I'm not gonna put all two, but I think it's the culture of what we have as African Americans is what we need more of. Like there is a space like for us. There's a been made space for us to, you know, like unite and tell our stories, but it's not ever on the scale that we would ever imagine it to be. Like you said, like when you grow up, you know, you got to work 10 times harder, right? And the culture in where we make our art is always 10 times less than what it should or could be. And not saying that it's not a great moment, it's just not the moment that should be had for the amount of, you know, like amazing things and stories that we got to tell on a level that it should be made on. And there are people who are like breaking through that glass, you know, like you said, Ava is one of those people, you know. But I think that's a lot of what we're missing. And I do feel it coming. I feel like the high tide coming in, you know what I mean? But it's just something I feel is missing from a lot of what we got. Like, like if we were to take Houston, right? Like you take the ensemble, they produce like shows that are almost like, if not just as good as shows that could be produced on Broadway, right?
I agree.
But the issue is we are not on the same operating level as the Alley.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the disconnect. I mean, is what we missing. You know?
It's interesting that you say that, and I'll use network or just series. I've been fortunate to work a network with Friday Night Lights, and then also do network working on OWN, and then do network and working for HBO. Each opportunity provided me a different platform. Y'all hungry?
I'm very hungry, sir.
Are you kind, mister?
Those times, yes. Well, of course, like anybody, our fault is, of course. Where y'all headed? Hey, ain't much around here, so I figure either you running from or running to.
Where you going?
And down to St. Louis. From there, catch a trail to California. Gonna be some people in Missouri. Is that good with you, Miss?
Cora.
Nice to meet you, Cora. I go by the name of Ali. I don't mean you no harm. Promise you that.
I'm Molly.
I do, Miss Molly.
If nothing else, it showed me the power of the people. We as artists still have a power. And of course the powers that be that you're saying that allows us to make our living, to produce these pieces, would have the chance to say, oh man, we got to go back and restructure this thing. Because streaming is far different from network and then cable. And even the residual.
And the technology, like technology changes everything, and you always have to constantly recalibrate. Like,
well, as Gabe told me one day, he says, of course, network, you had the satellite in the sky and the powers that be connected to the satellite. Well, that child can get a camera, get in front of them, and get them a YouTube channel, and the eyeballs now drive. Not the advertisers drive it. And so now we're coming back to that position of advertising. You know, Netflix is now saying you can get it for $6.99 and get these commercials.
They got ads now. Netflix, you got ads. I seen them too.
And so
about
with that,
3-4 of them too. I was like, oh, okay.
And it allows them to now pay us again on those circumstances, because the algorithm of paying residual is a difficult thing when you look at them going, man, when I used to have a residual from NBC, it's far different than I had it for Max. So it goes back to the powers that be to open the doors to tell those stories, and that's another reason why me and my business partner, through our process, saying, how can we get in this door? And I always preach, God, if you crack the door, I'll kick it down for your glory. Because if nothing else, it allows us to tell our stories. And the great ones, like Mario Van Peebles Pops, them cats kick the door down just to tell their stories. And that's so powerful, to tell that story, to make sure that it's heard. There is a place. Somebody wants to hear that story, because there's many people like us. You know, cats from North Side, South Side, Houston want to hear their stories, because that reminds them the cats from New York, or cats from Philly, or cats from Baltimore, to hear their story. And just like The Wire was hot because the cats from Baltimore got to hear their story. And so it's still in a good place, and there's no overcoming without struggle. You know, if it was not a struggle, what are we doing this for?
That's fair. That's fair. I can feel that. I don't disagree that it's not in a healthy place now. I just feel like as a person of my age,
Mm-hmm.
of not having the luxury of seeing how far it has came, knowing from where I started to now, like the possibilities of it being so much further advanced is disheartening, because it should be. You know what I mean? But I want
to go into something with you on that, because we're both Gilpin players.
Yeah, for sure. PV, CGP, CGP. So moving on.
Your first year, you didn't get a chance to be with C. Lee.
Well, he was there,
yes,
but only after the first semester. After the first semester, Rachel Dixon became my professor then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in '85, when I get there, he wasn't talking about working on television. He was talking about theater. Yeah. And so he was talking about, y'all need to get together and go move to New York and take over New York and theater. And it was one of those situations where if that was the only thing we had, it's so many platforms to express ourselves. Yeah. We can do theater, shoot it for Netflix or whatever we want to do in those different platforms. And because it's changed, it goes back to even training. Yeah. The state is great, but to me the training is not great. Them cats, even that Texas Southern with Ms. Jameson, the training was great. People think they can just do this job now just because you can go get a camera and do their thing.
I don't know if we got another 40 minutes for that one, Troy, because I sure got a lot to say.
But I do support anybody that wants
Anybody in the world could think they could. I don't even want to say think. It's not that you don't
they're
think.
Inspired. They're inspired.
I got words.
And so to get to the point where this education, to learn it, to know that there's much more than me talking. My job is to listen. That's acting. Yeah. It's the listening.
Active listening.
Active listening. Like I'm listening, you going, okay, Troy, don't just run your mouth to answer this question. Take this in, digest it. Where does it sit? Yeah. What, other than, look at me, I'm up here talking to my man today, and this is wonderful. No, what is inside of me that needs to hear that energy from you to take my words and have power behind them, not just gloss. And so that's where the education and theater thing comes from. And I miss C. Lee. Yeah. I miss having a home to go back to at Prairie View, to go sit there, not just say, look at me, kids. No, train me, kids. What y'all doing new? Because, every young director I see, I am not saying no, because yes, what you doing? Let's get down, because I want all opportunities.
It's the new ideas,
new fresh ideas. That's why I mess with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. Look, I'm just trying to work, man.
You're always working.
I'm out here trying to work. It ain't no up, down, left, or right about it.
What's your moniker?
Never not working.
Never
not working. Until my feet stop working.
Yeah, and that's when I look and you inspire me, bro, with that one. I bless it. Grace.
Excuse my water.
Man. Oh, well, I'll take one for you. We'll toast that. I touched you. Had a little tear go down. You ain't gonna shed no tear. It's gonna go down.
Yeah. So, what we like to do here on the fade, we like to do this thing that we like to call fade it forward, right? So it's just a time for you to impart any kind of advice or ideas or gripe or grievance or like whatever that is to the idea of like paying it forward, right?
Okay.
So we just want to fade it forward. You can look right into your camera and like any kind of nugget of gold.
Okay, you're there.
You're right here, right? Yep, right here.
Hey.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
Yeah.
So, fade it forward. Did that we have social media. I'm so proud that people can express themselves doing their work. But sometimes it can be difficult for artists that are not working. It's great to say I booked it, but that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. You're supposed to be working. So to go out and say I booked it is really a pat on your back for nothing. Yeah. When the man go to his job working at UPS or garbage man, he ain't clocking in talking about, I went to work today. Yeah. That's one of my gripes, because it also hurts the younger artists by the covetousness of, man, I want his job. Why can't I be like him? No. Know that you are enough. Every actor out there that has 0 credits to 1,000,000 credits, you are enough. I have to tell myself that. And it goes those 4 P's. What I do in my private time spills over to my personal time. My private time is me and my creator spending time together. Then my personal time spills over to my spouse, and anything that goes into who I am every day, my mom, my dog, those who need me. And then it goes into my professional time as an actor. I'm not always sitting there reading a script, knowing what I have to do to my body, my mind, my spirit, and that spills over to that public. And that's the social media. But if you start with the public, you're selling your soul, because what are you doing in your private time you ain't got to tell somebody about, because that's your time and with your creator. And so that's my big gripe are those who I don't want anybody to have, because I was there to cover that work. Heck, I got cats and bros that work their butts off, and I sometimes like, man, bro, can you put me on? And that's the old man. I have to kill that cat every day. I have to die of self every day. But yeah, if I got that one, that's my faded forward.
Okay. I'm digging that.
You digging that, bro?
Digging that like a shovel, baby.
Yeah, baby.
trying to date myself. Working on my old schools. Yeah. But nah, man. So my next question to you is through the grapevine, whether I may say I might be involved in one of these projects that I'm about to ask about, but want to ask you about this documentary you seem to be making. So we talked extensively about it. So I'm just want you to go into a little detail about what is to come.
I've been graced, man, by meeting a gentleman by the name of John Crawford and Gabe Mayon. I worked with Gabe on a piece called Antiquities. He was my DP, and his business partner, John Crawford, and this guy he grew up with, have this thing called the Saltfish Collective. And they got with me maybe a year and a half ago when I was doing Righteous Gemstones, and Gabe wanted a job to get down there and work with the cats. And he's like, you got to put me on, Troy. I'm laughing. I'm like, bro, no offense, you white, you can get on. But Gabe is my dog. And so Gabe said, hey, man, me and John are going to put a collective together, and we want to work with you first. He said, this play you've been talking about doing, and I've been talking about doing this play for 20-some odd years. I did it at Prairie View as a hustle before I came back to graduate. And he said, why don't we talk about, make a movie, documentary about you, the process of doing the play and all the intricacies of a professional actor, not, look at hey, I'm gonna do a play and I'm gonna get, I'm talking about dealing with stage managers, dealing with the unions, dealing with the playwright, and dealing with a house to deal with. And then learning with my business partner, Don Butler, because he's my EP, my executive producer partner, to say, hey man, we're gonna go ahead and put our feet out there and not just take the company from inside, because we built it as a covenant together and put it into a public sector, and at least allows us to both learn. And that's the grace of it. We're learning through the process as well. And that's my bro. And to tell you the actual factuals, that's my bro outside of just acting. That black man lifts me up. And I can be sentimental sometimes, but that cat right there goes a long way with me. And he was there when the first time, even when still part of the piece, where he was my shooter. He'd get off the truck, get to the house, and next thing you know, we doing self-tapes. We're taking that and building that out from music to fashion, so we get to impose that. So this piece, of course, is the Wizard of Hip, and I wanted to, as we say, re-look at it and not re-look at the business. So I'm looking at remixing the whole entire business and how I see it, and you're a remix of me, baby. I look at you all the time and say that voice. he ain't got mine, but I got his, and that spirit, and to be able to show Houston, even with Fade to Black, it's a part of that. I bleed Houston, and I bleed the things they think about. I bleed, and no, I'm not there physically, but when I hear about 10-minute plays and kids getting inspired, I said, did you call Fade to Black? And to be able to talk about that and the opportunity, because I want anything that pushes me to develop Houston in any form, I'm there. That's why I've never left. I travel a lot, but I still got a 713 number.
Yeah, amen. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I got 281.
Well, 832, you know, but
just
go in
a
the inner
little
circle.
after.
713-832, 346, you know.
Well, hold on now. Hold on. I don't know about 346.
Yeah, you know, they got so much because we so big.
Supposedly there's a new one. I don't recognize that one.
Yeah, because we so huge.
Nah,
They got to give it to us,
it's
baby.
a bill collector at this point. It's a bill collector.
I'm trying to call them back.
Spam likely.
Up.
Spam likely, sir. Spam likely. But Troy,
bro.
bro, I could sit here and talk to you all day, bro.
Oh,
And you know I could.
Well, just call me after this over.
I can do that too. I can do that. But man, I appreciate you stopping down, hollering at us for a little while, man. Stopping into the Fade. I hope you are ready for Fade to Black in 2025 as much as I am. So you know we are all just getting ready and gearing up towards the phenomenon that's gonna hit Houston.
That's right.
Real soon, summer 2025, June 2025.
I got one more thing to say.
Yeah.
I love you, black man.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I love
Y'all
you,
see
black
that,
man.
Man, look.
I love you,
appreciate it.
King.
Bro, I appreciate it.
I love you, King.
You know it go deeper than these microphones right here. So I
let y'all
appreciate
know
it,
love,
man.
because we have to tell brothers that,
Yeah.
you know, I love you, King.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I love you too. I really do. Yeah,
Right.
until. But yeah, this has been another episode of The Fade. I am your host, Brandon Morgan, with our wonderful, illustrious guest, Mr. Troy Anthony Hogan. Thank you for stopping by for The Fade. Thank you. We will catch y'all later. And remember, June 2025. Corey, we done? All right. Bet. What's the scope?